Welcome everyone. Today Apple has launched the brand new iPad and the Magic Keyboard Folio. So this is the regular iPad, not the M2. If I go to the back, you can see this is the 10th generation Wi-Fi. So I was a little bit impressed. This was not meant to come today, but oh well. We're going to start off with the iPad unboxing. We're then going to unbox the Magic Keyboard Folio. I'm actually going to test this Folio on my M1 iPad Pro because I kind of just want to use this over the regular Magic Keyboard. Let's get started. So we have these pull tabs here, usual, and now we can actually open up the iPad itself. So just pull up like this. Now for some context about me, I've used iPads since 2016. You know, iPads have kind of been my whole life. You know, in 2016 I was 12, 13, something like that. So that just gives you some context on how much I enjoy iPads. I use them more than phones. So here we go. Here is the iPad itself. I believe this is the red or the pink color. I actually can't remember what I bought, and it doesn't actually say the color here. Pink. This is the pink color. Now I'm going to tell you this right now. This looks red, 100%. There is no way in my mind that this has any affiliation to pink. It looks really good, don't get me wrong, it looks really good, but yeah, this definitely ain't pink. If you saw this in public, you're saying this is red, not pink. I don't see any pinks in here at all, but I'm not complaining, it actually looks pretty good. So let's turn on the iPad itself. We do have the camera on landscape mode, which does help because I've never really used an iPad in portrait. No Apple Pencil 2 charging slot, but we do have speakers on both of the left hand sides, which is pretty cool. A lot of people are upset about the non-laminated display, but you know, looking at it right now, I'm not okay. So if you look like this, if you're trying to look for the gap, you will notice the gap. But face on, being brutally honest, this is a lot better than the other iPads. It is nowhere near as bad as you'd actually think for a laminated display. Plus, you get way cheaper repair costs as well. Oh, we have a braided USB-C cable. That's new. That is new. Wow. Wow, that's pretty cool. I'm surprised to see that. That is so cool. So my M1 does not have a braided USB-C cable. If you can probably tell by my excitement. We then have an Apple brick. I'm assuming 20 watts. Okay, so here is the iPad itself. You know, I'm actually more impressed than I was expected to be, being brutally honest here. Now, you may have heard about the Apple Pencil saga. You can only use the first gen Apple Pencil, number 1, and then number 2, you have to use an adapter because we do have USB-C on this iPad. But being brutally honest here for just a second, my workflow, I lost my Apple Pencil and my workflow never slowed down. You know, it's the keyboard, which is the big one. We also do have Touch ID on the sides here. I have never really thought 100% if this is better or worse than Face ID, because with Face ID on the iPad, usually it's actually kind of hard to use. And the reason why is because when you're far away, it just can't recognize your face, right? And when I say far away, not even that far away, right? But with Touch ID, of course, you touch the sensor and it's going to unlock. And that's why I never use a Touch ID device on iPads without the home button, of course. So I can't say for sure if I'm going to like this more, but we'll see in a little bit. I will run a test, right? So what this is, you know, doing its thing. I did find it peculiar. It never had to activate itself. I did find that very peculiar. Usually it you know, does, right? So let's put this like this. And we have the Magic Keyboard Folio. This is, hold up. This actually feels heavier than the iPad itself. Interesting. Alright. I'm going back on the iPad discussion. I mean, I used to be a mobile gamer, so I used to care about the 120 Hz. But nowadays, yeah, my mobile gaming days, like, I'm really good at mobile gaming. I used to be 0.001% in EU for Call of Duty Mobile, if any of you happen to play that game. That was July 2021. But I don't know, I just don't really game anymore. Played so many, probably played tens of thousands of hours, not even a joke, in school called mobile, right? That was how dedicated I was. Okay, so here is the keyboard folio. I'm actually looking forward to this. Wow, the instant regret. No, so pausing for a second, I bought a black Magic Keyboard case for my M1 iPad Pro, and looking at this white one, this looks, wow, this looks so good. Oh my, I feel like a little child, but this actually looks so good. Wow. And it still has the same trackpad which clicks anywhere. You don't have to worry about that. Wow. I could spend all day just admiring that. That's crazy. The texture here feels really good as well. Oh man. Part of me is like, do I make the switch from my M1? But the fact is, my M1 was the 2TB model. I actually got a really good deal on it. I only paid £1,000. And usually you pay £2,000. The reason why I didn't con Apple, right? The reason why is because on eBay, new iPad, they're like, oh, just get rid of it. So I'm going to check my M1 iPad Pro, see if I can connect to this. I'm assuming not. I'm also going to test my 2017 iPad Pro because that has the exact same connector. It'll be really funny to see if I can actually connect these guys. I also have an iPad 9 here as well. And then the iPad Pro. Let's just have some fun today, okay? So, I'm starting off with the M1. I'm 100% this is not going to work. So, if we look at the bottom here. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, we can try and do something janky here. I just connect it like this. Imagine this actually works. Okay. That is 100% connected and nothing. Yeah, I mean, no surprises there, right? No surprises there. Now let's test out the iPad 9th generation. I'll plop this on. Try and plop it on. Yep, nothing working here either. I can't tell for sure if I got the connection right. That's 100% the connection made. Let's test out the search. Yep, okay, so you want to use your iPad 9th generation. That's a no-go. Now the iPad Pro 11, sorry, 10.5 inch. Let's test out this one. This is really a stupid thing to do. I mean, obviously, it probably won't work, but you can try, right? Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Okay, so no backwards compatibility, no M1 compatibility, which is a little bit of a shame. But let's actually use this on the iPad it was meant for. Boom. Let's try that again. Boom. Now I will say something that you may not hear many people talk about, but that connection is really bad, right? So I used to use the iPad Pro 2017 keyboard folio case, which used the exact same connection. I'm going to tell you this one right now. It had so many flaws, it was insane. So about after a year of use, my friend had the same. The connection, you had to like slam the iPad back on it. This is a new iPad, obviously, but that is something that may happen. So, wow, that's not a good wow. There is no stage manager. Okay, so just for anyone watching this, like, oh, what's a stage manager? Stage manager is like this really good split screen multitasking that I actually use every day on my M1. They didn't introduce it here. That is... Okay, so it did actually ship with 16.0. Now what's funny about that is 16.0 doesn't exist. 16.0 doesn't exist. If you're actually wondering, 16.1 was the first iPadOS 16. So this is like some beta that they've released. Let's see if there's any glitches. So in the past, there was actually a Siri shortcut which you could use to customize the lock screen. No, we're not going to play stupid, but Okay, so I have 64 gig iPad 10th generation. If you're actually thinking about picking this one up, the keyboard case, like just being blunt here for just a minute, we have A15, which is very solid, don't get me wrong, but A14 even, which is, I mean, it's okay, but I will say it's starting to slow down already on iOS 16, so just keep that one in mind. Now, the keyboard case itself, I mean, it's really good, don't get me wrong, it's really good. Look at that. You can change the brightness, you can change the volume. Really cool. I really like this case, but it's not on M1 iPad Pro, it's not on the Airs, which actually really sucks. And the main reason why is because this would also fill my mobile gaming needs if I went back to mobile gaming. You could take this part off, you can use it as a stand. I don't know how to use it as a stand. Is it just a lot of force? Okay, yeah, there's two sides, and then now you can have it stood up. You can play mobile games. This has any angle. I really hope that they introduce this to the M1 because I would buy it personally. But being very blunt here, this is a solid setup, but you do lose the Stage Manager, which is a big deal. You also have a very expensive keyboard case. The laminated display is a non-issue. If you don't care about the Apple Pencil, which I used to think I cared, back when there was no trackpad on an iPad, I actually used to use the Apple Pencil. It's kind of like a pointing device. But now we do have a pointing device in the form of a trackpad. I don't use it anymore. So if you're looking at this and you just want a cheap iPad, you're gonna get an iPad case, but it's not going to be a keyboard case. But this is something to consider. It does raise the question: should you just get the iPad Air A14 version that released, I think, last year? You could get that for a really good deal used on eBay. But for those wondering about the laminated screen, is that an issue? No, it really isn't. It's not laminated, but you have to like look right at the top of the display and then you can see the non-lamination. But if you're looking face on, and even on an angle like I am now, I'm not really noticing any real issues. So this is better than I expected, but for someone who uses an M1 iPad Pro with 16 gigs of RAM and relies on the Stage Manager, unfortunately I can't switch to this. I don't do much on my iPad anymore. It's multimedia, YouTube, messaging, and it's just photo editing. That's the three things I do. And if Stage Manager existed, I really wouldn't need an M1. But I think I'm going to keep my M1 for now. I'm not going to be switching to this one. But if you don't care, again, about Stage Manager, and you don't care about this keyboard case, then you have a really solid setup. I am more than impressed. 60 Hz may look bad, but you get used to the frame rate you get, right? I used to use a 60 Hz iPad Air 2 for about like 4 years, so I mean, it's not that bad. And then the iPad Mini 5 I used as well. It's really hard to say. I'm impressed. I am impressed. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Let me know if you're getting this iPad. Let me know if you're getting this keyboard case. I honestly, I don't know why you would get the case. iPad, I understand the iPad is actually really good, but keyboard case, yeah. Bye-bye.